Hey, this is Leslie. Welcome back to Ethereal Aeons Activation. In this video, we're going to talk in particular to those individuals who are finding themselves constantly trapped in a maze within their own mind and thoughts and their entire psyche. So if you're caught in this maze where you are constantly replaying memories, where you're constantly in the past, although you don't like it and you don't want to, you're still holding on. You know, this is a very familiar scenario for people. This is something we all go through. No one person is exempt of this. So I'm here to tell you that the stories of your past do not define you. No matter how challenging your experiences have been, they do not have to dictate your future, who you are now, and they don't have to limit your potential. None of it has to. So we understand, no matter how difficult this can be to actually accomplish, we understand that we have the power to shape our own narrative. And there are no limitations to that. That is why we are infinite creators, because we have the ability to define our life and create our own narrative in any way we want to. Okay. And I know this is easier said than done, but there is a path that we are all on, and eventually we reach that fork in the road. There is that split, and one road leads you to a victim mindset. That is a very dark path to stay on. It is a very unconscious path to stay on. The other road leads to empowerment and growth. There is a decision to be made here, though. It's up to you what path you want to follow. And every moment, every decision, every thought, every inaction you take, every action you take is going to either bring you onto that road of victim mindset or self-empowerment and growth. So the victim mindset is, we're talking about the past here because the victim mindset is what keeps you tethered to the past. It's what begins to control the individual and all the decisions that you make. But to take the path of empowerment, it's extremely uncomfortable. It's not going to be a walk in the park, especially when you're starting to, you want to gain some momentum and you want to keep your strides. So it's very uncomfortable, which is why people get so used to this trauma bonding with the past. It's just become something easier. Our minds become wired this way. And ultimately, there is a fear of making the confrontation head on with whatever these traumas may be. And there's also the ego death that occurs with that, which is what clenches people under its grasp so effectively, because with this discovery and untethering of the past and the traumas comes the ego death. And so that is typically why people are so controlled by their past, because it's like I said, it's an uncomfortable process to have an ego death. But we recognize that while our past experiences, we're not going to say they didn't do anything for us. They definitely have shaped who you become as an individual, but they don't have to confine you. We must have the willpower to begin to write our own narrative. Because if you don't have willpower, you're not going to get far. You can't even get your car to go around the block unless it has enough gas. And so your willpower is your fuel. And you have to learn from the past. So if you haven't gotten over it, it's likely because you have not learned what needs to be learned. And that lesson is still left unmarked. It's left unchecked. But we can still begin the initiation of forging a path forward that aligns with your spiritual values, because just because you haven't gotten over something or just because you're haunted by certain aspects of your path does not mean that you don't have spiritual values or aspirations. No, it becomes kind of a tug of war. It becomes these two parts of yourselves that are fighting against each other. And so then we create this resistance which prevents any flow into your life. no matter how much you're trying. And so it's really a journey of peeling back the old layers and establishing resilience. So continually striving to become the best version of yourself. And the only way to strive towards that is by forgiveness, is by banishing out what needs to be banished, is by finding that willpower to declare what needs to be declared. Say it out loud, but project it into the astral realms, project it, let it penetrate past the veil. And yeah, this journey of peeling back the layers, it's gonna unbind you from the constraints of the past. So if you're still trapped in a cycle of just these mind games and this psyche having a heavy influence over you, and you're trapped in this turmoil, it's likely that you're literally anchored to the past. And all the internal dialogue is dictating nearly every variable of your life. So you're not really able to make any decisions beyond what constraints the past has over you. So this is not a sovereign place to be. This is kind of, you're in the mud, right? So the astral corridors within the psyche, they're basically wide open within your psyche, and they're permitting your mind to process any incoming information without filtering it first. So that means your thoughts are not filtered. That means there is no control in there. And so these are muddy waters, and they're very difficult to purify if you don't have the willpower, if you don't have the laser beam focus. So a simple inner exploration that can be done to get you out of the swamp, okay? This is going to be a simple yet profound inner work. It's a simple, what I call soul work, journaling prompt, because ultimately we are all striving towards wholeness. And wholeness implies that all the fractal aspect of ourselves, all of our soul fracturing that has occurred is brought back home. Okay, our mind, body, soul are integrated, and those aspects of ourselves that fled during trauma are safe to come back home within you. And so that's why these are soul work assignments here. That's kind of what I've coined, the work I give to my clients or in my courses. And this is a journaling prompt. And it's so simple. All you have to do is define who you are not. If you're stuck in the past, chances are you're lacking the confidence and clarity needed to define who you are in the first place. So to navigate out of the darkness and into the light, it's essential to first acknowledge and declare what you are not. So this concept diverges from conventional wisdom, but it holds the key to truth. So by clearly defining who and what you are not, you illuminate your path, and it makes it so much easier to continue navigating the journey of self-discovery. So let's just face it here. When you're in too deep, okay, it's almost impossible to think of yourself as powerful and infinite. So that would defeat the purpose of stating who you are, right? If you're feeling lost, if you're feeling confused, you're not going to have a very convincing delivery of I am spirit, I am infinite, correct? So it's far more apparent to declare who you are not. Here is an example. I am not a fear-based person. I am not going to give up on my spiritual growth. I am not an unworthy person. And by writing these out and then declaring it out loud, you begin to stand up for who you truly are. This is a self-empowerment lesson here. You're going to feel like you're your own cheerleader, because by saying what you are not, you start to remember who you are. And it's a big wake-up call. So this is very simple yet effective. And you're going to notice when you start to write this out, you can list it out. You can elaborate on certain aspects that you feel really passionate about during that moment. But by listing these out, there's this protective mechanism. There's this remembrance of standing up for your true essence. It's like a way to bypass your ego, and it's very effective when you're kind of lost in the psyche. So to deepen this practice also, you can dispose of the prompt by burning it. So burn your declaration. You have to say it out loud. Let the smoke penetrate past the veils. Release your banishment of the thoughts of these mental patterns that have been hindering your progress for too long. So I hope this journaling soul work assignment, it can take anywhere between 5 to 50 minutes. It just really depends where you want to go with this, but you don't have to spend much time on it. It's actually just taking the time to do the journaling prompt, and you will get much more clarity surrounding and remembering who you are, what aspects of yourself that you want to embrace, and what aspects of yourself are being smolted out by these bindings with the past and with these unwanted thoughts. Let me know how this goes for you. And if you have any questions, I will answer them for you. Just leave your comments down below. And please hit the like, share, subscribe. And share this video with anyone else who you think might benefit from this practice. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon.